Hello students, welcome back to subject Network and Cyber Security, presenting by Manjunatha Iyer, Assistant Professor, ECE Department, CEC Mangalore. So this video lecture, I am going to discuss about the Module 3, its IP security. This video lecture will discuss about IP security policies, security association database. Let's move to the topic for today's session. I'm going to begin with IP security policy. The fundamentals to the IP security is the concept of security policy applied to each packet that transits from source to destination. As we all know that we are sending a data from source to the destination as a fragment, okay? The data packets. While we are sending each data packet, the basic fundamental things that we need to look after before we are sending each packet from sender to the receiver. So providing the IP security for each packet is very important. So IP security policy is determined primarily by the interaction between two databases. So the heading IP security policy, so it will be determined mainly initially by the interaction between the two databases. Okay, let's see which are those two databases. Security Association Database, in short form, we'll say SAD. Okay. Then Security Policy Database. So there is one more database called as Security Policy Database. Okay. So in short, we'll say SPD. So we know what is a database, right? Database is a place where we will use that place to store some data. So here both SAD and SPD we are using, these two databases we are using to save some the parameters parameters related to the IP securities, and and this database two databases will interact between each other, and when the conditions are satisfied, our security level is satisfied, so then only it will start start exchanging of information between the sender and the receiver. So unless the security policies are other the parameters inside the databases met all the conditions, we can understand IP security policy by its IP security architecture. Having a look on IP security architecture, understand what is IP security policy exactly. So now let us assume that this is at the sender side and this is at the receiver side. Coming to the sender side, having two databases basically, as we discussed in the previous slide. SPD, Security Policy Database, where it stores some data or parameter related to the security policy, and also one more database, Security Association Database. Here will deploy some data or parameters related to the security association. So the one more thing is v2, okay, Internet Key Exchange version 2. So we'll see that, okay, what is the role of this IKE version 2. So now before, okay, information exchange begins, the communication starts. So SPD is going to interact with the, okay, IKE v2 and, okay, SAD as well. Okay, and also IKE version 2 will be interacting with the, okay, SAD through Internet Protocol, okay, security version 3. So when all conditions are met and okay, it makes sure that it gives a strong security for the information exchange, then the actual information will begin. So now the same thing is going to happen at the receiver side. Okay, SPD, SAD, and IKE version 2. SPD is going to interact with the IKE version 2 as well as SAD, and IKE v2 will interact with the SAD through IPsec version 3. So now the sender is using some keys okay, for symmetric encryption and asymmetric encryption. Okay, these keys need to be shared with the receiver. Okay, whether it's a public key or a secret key, but it needs to be shared with the receiver. Okay, that job is done by IKE version 2. That's what the key exchange. So now also ESP protects the data. We know what is the ESP, right? Internet secure payload. It's going to protect the data that we need to send from sender to the receiver. So this is what IP architecture says about IP security policy. Next, we'll move on to the security associations. Some parameters is associated with the security. Let's move on. What are the associations or parameters? Security parameter index, that is SPI, a 32-bit unsigned integer assigned to this security association and having a local significance only. The SPI is carried in AH and ESP headers to enable the receiving system to select the security association under which a received packet will be processed. So security association will be established either by sender or receiver, right? The person who is going to send a message. It's a single way communication. It is for single way communication. If the sender need to send a message to the receiver, he need to establish a security association, and similarly, if the receiver need to exchange the information with the sender, he needs to establish his own security association. Single way communication. So if you want to go for dual communication, so two channels or two security association need to be established. So we need to identify the security association, that is with a 32-bit unsigned integer, so assigned for security association, and the SPI security parameter index is carried in authentication header as well as ESP encapsulated secure payload headers. SPI will be carried along with the AH, it is inside the AH and ESP headers. So it is going to enable the receiving system to select the security association in order to process the packet. So once the packet is received by the receiver, you need to process it. It's a one association parameter with the security associations. So another parameter is IP destination address. So this is obviously the IP address of the receiver. This is the address of the destination, that is the end point of the security association, which may be on the end user system or a network system such as a firewall or a router. So we know what is the role of router, right? Before the receiver is going to receive the data, is going to receive by the nearest router. So it's having, the router. Okay, the IP address, IP destination address is nothing but it's a, the destination address or the receiver address. So one more parameter associated with the security associations, protocol identifier. Okay, security protocol identifier. So this field from the outer IP header indicates whether the association is an AH or ESP security association. So it is going to indicate that the security association, so that is for authentication header protocol or ESP protocol. Okay, encapsulated security payload protocol. So we know that IP security can be achieved by two protocols. Okay, they are AH protocol and ESP protocol, and that particular security association is for AH or ESP, just to make a distinguish between these two protocols. So let's move on to the other topic, security association database. Okay, we discuss in detail about the database content or the parameters inside the security association database. So the first parameter that we are using in database SAD, security association database, that is security parameter index, that is SPI. So about SPI we had discussed in the previous slide. So it's a 32-bit value selected by the receiving end of a security association to uniquely identify the security association. So as I said, if for multiple connections or multiple establishment, we need more than one security association, and we need to make, we need to identify each security association with unique identity. Okay, so that is represented in 32-bit value. So is a security association database entry for an outbound security association. The SPI is used to construct the packets for authentication header or ESP header, is an SAD entry for an inbound security association. So the SPI is used to map traffic to appropriate security association. So there are two different entries, outbound and inbound entries. So outbound entries is for to construct the packets for AH or ESP header, and for inbound security association, that is for SPI is used to map the traffic to appropriate security association. So we know what traffic terms we are using. So it's a data. So sequence number counter. It's again a 32-bit value. It is going to represent, we are using this 32-bit value to generate the sequence number field in authentication header or ESP headers. So we are sending data packets. We need to identify each data packet by unique number, and that unique number is it's a 32-bit value. So that's the sequence number counter we are using to generate a sequence number fields that we are using in AH or ESP headers. Sequence counter overflow. So now a flag, we are using this sequence counter flow as a flag, and that is going to indicate whether overflow of the sequence number counter should generate an additable event and prevent further transmission of packets on this security association. So once the security association is established and we start sending data packet from sender to the receiver, and in some point, in certain time, the receiver is not able to receive the data packets. So at what point of time, at what that particular time, the receiver is stop receiving a data packet. So that is indicated by the sender with the flag. That is what sequence counter work for. So mean to say, so what data packet sequence number, the sender need to be stopped sending a data packets to the receiver. So it indicates that, that the data packet sequence number, sequence counter overflow, so it indicates that, so there is a sequence number of the data packet. At what certain time the sender need to stop sending a IP packet to the receiver. So the fourth parameter is anti-replay window. So this parameter is used to determine whether an inbound authentication header or ESP packet is a replay. So this parameter we are using to go identify, sometimes the same packet is going to receive by the receiver many times. The first time when he is going to receive the data packet, so that is actual data packet, that is received by the sender. That is sent by the sender. Next, the same packet is going to receive, but it is not sending by the legitimate sender. So it is by the attackers or intruder. So the intruder or the attackers, he will also receive the same packet and he will do some modification. So then again he is sending to the receiver. So receiver should not replay for those data packets. So whatever the same packet is receiving a second time, so it is not actually it is sent by the sender, so it is sent by the attackers after modification over. So what is the replay from the receiver? You need to deny of receiving such data packet. So that will be what is the anti-replay window. So if I want to explain in detail about anti-replay window, so receiver is going to maintain a checklist for each data packet. Say for example, sequence number, data packet is having a sequence number 1 is received by the receiver. So for 1, will mark as a it's going to mark as a right mark. So next time, he may receive data packet 2 or data packet 3. Let us assume that next he is going to receive the data packet 3. So after the data packet 3 is received by the receiver, so what is the status of this checklist? So it's a right mark. So again the same data packet is received by the receiver. You need to come to the conclusion. So this is not a data packet is sent by the actual sender. So that data packet may sent by the attackers after modification, and this will be monitored by receiver with some checklist. So next, edge information. So it's the authentication header protocol information. So authentication algorithms details, and what are the keys are used for authentication, and key lifetimes. What is the lifetime of the keys that is used for encryption, and the related parameters of authentication header protocol that are being used with authentication header. It's very simple that in authentication header information, it is going to provide the details about the authentication header protocol. Suppose if IP security is done with the authentication header protocol. Suppose if IP security is followed by ESP encapsulated security payload protocol, so this parameter is going to give the information about ESP protocol. So what is the encryption, what type of encryptions has been used, and the authentication algorithms have been used, and keys used, and initialization values used for ESP, key lifetime, and the related parameters being used with the ESP. So other parameters is stored in security association databases, lifetime of the security association. So when the security association is established by the client, it may be a sender or a receiver, so it's having some lifetime. For example, we have lifetime for passport or driving license, right? So after that, like it may be 10 years or 15 years. Say for example, 15 years is the lifetime of passport. After 15 years over, so we need to go for renewal of our passport. The same thing, each security association which is established by a client having certain lifetime. After its lifetime is over, you need to go for renewal. A time interval or byte count after which an security association must be replaced with a new security association and a new SPI are terminated, plus an indication of which these actions should be occur. So here for security association there is no concept of renewal. So after lifetime of the security association is over, you need to establish new security association. So sometimes security association will be terminated before its lifetime over. So in that case also, the client need to be established a new security association for information exchange. So next, IP security protocol mode. We have already come across what are the different types of modes can be used for IP security protocol. So that is a tunnel mode. One is tunnel mode, or second one is transport mode. Transport mode or wide code. Both are same. So what type of IP security protocol mode is implemented? Is it tunnel mode or is it transport mode? So this that can be understood by IP security protocol mode parameter that is stored in security association database. Next, path MTU. So MTU stands for path maximum transmission unit. So that is maximum size of the packet that can be transmitted without fragmentation and aging variables. So we know when we go for fragmentation, right? So when we have a huge data size or more data size that we need to share with the receiver, and we'll go for fragmentation. So each fragmentation will have equal size. But so what is the maximum size of the data that we can send to the receiver without going for fragmentation? So again, this parameter means, this parameter is stored in security association database, and that we can understand by looking into SAD. Summary of this video lecture: we have come across what is IP security policy and security association, when security association need to be established, and what purpose we are establishing it. Then security association database, okay, the parameters inside the database, okay, we have covered. If you have any doubts after watching this video, feel free to post your doubts in comment section so that I am able to answer your doubts. Thank you for watching my video.